You're listening to Emerson Whitner's NXT Report on the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. My name is Emerson Whitner, and this is your NXT audio update for Wednesday, February 24th, 2016. Exclusively here on both AngryMarks.com and WrestlingOutsiders.com. And I know that goes against the word exclusive since it's on two different sites, but hey, it's my audio report. You want to say something else? You do your own audio report. Dang it. But until then, please listen to this one. This week's NXT was more notable for what was going to happen in the future than what happened on this one, as they announced two amazing matches plus a huge debut for next week. But let's get on to the start here. We begin with American Alpha, Jason Jordan and Chad Gable against Blake and Murphy. We're still at the CFE Arena at the University of Central Florida. The fans still like Jordan and Gable, but this was already the second time they'd seen them, so it wasn't as much love as before. And on top of that, this was just minutes after the Samoa Joe Sami Zayn match from last week, so the fans were tired. Gable and Jordan destroyed Blake and Murphy for a long time. This match went about 12 minutes, and it began with 7 minutes of Jordan and Gable just on offense, schooling Blake and Murphy like there's no tomorrow. Finally, after the commercial break, actually well after the commercial break, the heels finally cut off Gable for the heat using double team shenanigans. Blake and Murphy, by the way, continue to work good together. Those two and Baron Corbin are like three of the best that WWE has that didn't sign after being big name independent wrestlers. Jordan did get the hot tag and hit several suplees on both men, and the good guys picked up the win with grand amplitude, their finish that I usually forget the name of 9 weeks out of 10. After the double pin finish from last week, Mr. Regal announced that in 2 weeks it will be Samoa Joe versus Sami Zayn in a 2 out of 3 falls match, and that will determine who is the true number one contender for the NXT title. I wonder how Baron Corbin's going to somehow insert himself into it. He also announced that a brand new superstar talent will debut next week. They've signed all the contracts, they've gotten all the legal taken care of, and now it's time for a big star to debut in just 7 days. They showed Sawyer Fulton highlights while he sang. Sawyer Fulton is the drifter, in case you forgot. I want to point out that he's still boring even in highlight form. And normally WWE can make like Scotty 2 Hotty versus Funaki look like the main event of WrestleMania, but they could not make Sawyer Fulton look interesting. Apollo Crews versus the debuting Christopher Gerard. Apollo Crews is back, and he's been so directionless since he lost to Baron Corbin at TakeOver London. It's like they literally have no ideas for him, and him losing was such a really big deal that night when he lost to Baron Corbin, because like they just can't figure out a thing to do with him. Gerard did look good here in his NXT debut, but announcers are too busy talking about his size or lack thereof. At one point saying he wasn't that much bigger than Gilbert, Dwayne Gill from late 90s WWF quote-unquote fame. This was not just a squash match. Gerard got a full entrance. He had a competitive match with Crews before going down in defeat, and Crews won with his toss powerbomb. Alex was backstage, and I nearly wanted to throw him out a window as he was interviewing Bayley and Carmella and called them Bay-Mella, which was just gag-worthy. Bayley put over her partner, and Carmella said that one day she's coming back for the championship. When asked about Asuka from a few weeks ago, Bayley said she's happy that Asuka helped out, but it's obvious that she too was coming after the championship. Earlier this week, Enzo Amore arrived at the WWE Performance Center when he was attacked by Dash and Dawson. They used security camera footage, and it was so grainy, and it was definitely not HD. It was different and looked more real than your normal beatdown with your high-def quality camera, but it just, I don't know, it didn't look like something that should have aired. Like, there are different ways they could have made it look a little grainy and dirtier and not made it look, I don't know, like, it wasn't independent level, but, like, it wasn't good quality, is what I'll say. We then got Tommaso Ciampa versus Bull Dempsey in a loser goes to WrestleCon match. And to be fair, this may have been also a winner goes to WrestleCon. I haven't checked the list lately, so Ciampa may be there. Bull needed the referee's help to get his shirt off because it was so tight. Because even though he's bull fit and he's been getting into shape for the past 6, 7, 8, 9 months, it seems, he still hasn't lost enough weight to the point that he could put a shirt on and off. I should point out that I am fat, and I have no problem wearing shirts that can both get on me and get off of me. Ciampa was not amused by these shenanigans, and Dempsey was content to just do jumping jacks as opposed to sports entertaining, so Ciampa made him pay for it. At one point, it looked like Dempsey hit the boss man slam, but Bull was the one selling, so they sold it like Ciampa did some wacky move to his shoulder. It reminded me of Spike Dudley's acid drop way back when, where half the time you didn't know who actually got hit with the move until someone sold it. And Ciampa won with a rolling armbar. And I gotta say, at least Bull lost on his way out. If you remember, Cassius Ohno was getting a really good push when they, after he was already released. Samoa Joe cut a promo saying that he made NXT a hot property just by showing up, and it's a shame that Sami Zayn is going to get beaten on for 2 falls instead of 1. Alex then asked Sami Zayn about it. Zayn said that he's been in plenty of 2 out of 3 falls matches, including the famous one against Cesaro. There was one against Corey Graves, I recall, but he's ready to do what he's got to do to become a 2-time NXT champion. Then it was time for the main event, Nia Jax and Eva Marie versus Bayley and Carmella. These 4 ladies have been in each other's way since going back to November when Bayley wrestled Eva Marie for the first time. It continued through TakeOver when Bayley took on Nia. It continued into the Battle Royal when Carmella eliminated Eva Marie. And it rolled on through Carmella's title match against Bayley 2 weeks ago. And I just want to remind everyone that has such high hopes that WWE's Diva Division is going to get a total makeover and it's going to be all about actual serious in-ring wrestling. Just remember, Eva Marie is still pegged as the next breakout diva. The faces schooled Eva, who screamed for Nia to help. I want to point out, in the interest of fairness, because I am a fair guy at the end of the day, that Eva has improved ever so slightly. Because back in the day, she showed absolutely no expression during her match, and at least now she yells in pain when she's selling. That is a step up. Nia stayed in the match as much as possible, tagging in Eva for very specific spots and moments, things that she couldn't possibly mess up. And actually, when Bayley got the hot tag, which woke up the entire crowd, by the way, she did her entire comeback on Eva, and Eva didn't mess it up. So, hooray! Eva has now reached a point where she can be carried by an exceptional worker. So Bayley had the match won with the belly to Bayley, but Nia dragged Bayley off and headbutted her. Carmella tagged in, and that's when it became the Nia Jax show. Nia attacked Carmella, gave a body attack to Bayley, and then dragged Eva across the ring into the corner so she could make the tag. Nia hit 3 leg drops on Carmella, before Eva blind tagged herself in and got the pin, and the heels won, celebrating together. At first I thought Nia was going to be mad that Eva stole the spotlight, but no, they're a good team, they're friends, they're partners. It doesn't matter who gets the pin, because the team won the match. And the show ended with Rich Brennan interviewing William Regal and NXT champion Finn Balor. Mr. Regal told Finn that he's closing in on the record for the longest reigning NXT champion. And so we finished the show with Finn being told that next week, on this very show, he will go one-on-one with the man who holds the record for the longest NXT title reign of all time, the man that gravity forgot, Neville. So yes, the next 2 weeks are going to have some really good matches, and it's going to be really fun, really interesting. And this week, well, I don't know what to tell you, but this wasn't the week, I guess. But that's going to do it for this week. I want to thank everyone for listening, and I'll talk to you again in just 7 days.
You're listening to Emerson Whitner's NXT Report on the Angry Marks Podcast Network.